G'day guys, welcome back to another week of building the Santisima Trinidad. This week we're going to be building the building and fitting the doors to this front deck. I've done one here. We'll be doing the other side on camera. As you can see, they're slightly ajar because that's to allow the light through that we fitted last week. I will be doing it a little bit different to the instructions. The hinges, I'll be using brass black on them, and same with the door handle. The instructions don't actually have a door handle at all, so I've just used an eye bolt to make one because I figured what sort of door doesn't have a handle. So we'll be doing all that this week on the other side. So I'll set up and we'll get started. Okay, these are the parts we need for building the door. These are laser cut pieces that were literally just labelled door. We had two, I've used one. We also have to use this piece, which is 1/2 mil by 4 mil. Same stuff that we used to plank the front of the deck there. So we're just going to be making a frame around the outside of the door all the way around, and then we'll be planking across the front. So I'll do that on camera without commentary, and then I'll start explaining again once we get to the hinges and the door handle. Okay, so next up we put the hinges and the door handle, which in this case is just an eye bolt, on. I've already brass blackened them all, so I've just got to mark the position that each of the hinges go, which is 3mm from the top and bottom edge of the door. It's just so that I know exactly where they go and they line up with the other door. So we grab the hinges, and what we're going to do is we're going to just bend that actual hinge part on the end there. Just bend it so, I don't know, about a 40-45 degree angle, so when we fit the door it is slightly open. Okay, so I'll just get some glue ready and we'll fit those to the door. Now we've just got to fit that eye bolt for handle. I've made a little mark exactly halfway up that side of the door. I'm just going to drill a hole in there. I think I've got a 0.3 drill bit. So then I'll just get a little bit of glue onto the eye bolt there, and then we'll slip it in place. So we'll just give that a second and then we'll fit it to the ship. Okay, next up we've got to do a bit of work on the stern here as we prepare for building the officers' quarters. We've got this piece which is 64, which will go sit over the top of those parts we've put in place already. Actually goes the other way around, tabs to the rear. So it just fits over those two tabs. As you can see, that is fit up through the holes on the piece. And then we actually bend that down slightly to the outside. At first I thought I'd made a mistake building that lower section. I thought maybe it should be straight, but the instructions actually show that it is curved. So we'll glue that in place. I'll clamp it down to hold that position, and then once that dries we'll continue. Next up we have this part 65. As you can see, it just goes into these holes along the back here, and it has the same curve that we've just created by clamping that piece down. So we'll just slot it in there using a bit of white glue, and then I'll just use the brush to tidy it up a little bit, make it look a bit neater, even though you won't see it. Okay, now we've just got to slip this part 66, I think it's 66, yeah it is. 66 just goes into the back, into these tabs. This one actually not only curves down but curves back towards the bow. I have no way of clamping this one in place, so I'm going to use CA glue and hold it just until it stays in its proper position. So I'll just put a little bit in there where I know it's going to make contact, and then we'll just fit it in place and hold it until it stays where we want it to. Okay, next we have two of these part 67s, which will just be going into the holes on either side of this piece here. Just using a bit of white glue, just pop it in there, and it just touches that piece in front of it. So we'll put the other side in. Real tight fit, it moves around a little bit, we'll straighten that up, and like the other side, it just touches that piece behind it. Okay, next up we've got this part 68. These holes line up with the tabs that are on the pieces that we've already fitted, and then you've got the side hole there that fits into the two little pieces that we put in last. So just slot them over the top. There's always one that's got to be stubborn, just give that a bit of a push. There we go, that goes in. So now I'm just going to clamp those in position until it dries. Push it back a little bit. There's not a lot of room under here, so do the same to the other side. So we'll just leave that to dry, and then we'll continue. Okay, next up we have these two braces or supports that just go along the keel there. We've got 69L and 70L. 69 just has this little tab, so we know where it goes, and then 70 just fits into this slot along the keel line. We'll have a little bit of sanding to do when we do the planking, but that's just where it sits, just a couple of mil above that keel line there. Next up we have this part, which is SF10. That'll be going on to frame number 10. It just sits with the top of it level with that deck support beam just there, and the curved edge goes to the outside just in line with the frame there. Just going to make sure it's nice and level with that beam, and then we have a matching part exactly the same that will go onto the other side. Well, what's the bit? I blocked the camera here, so just slot that in exactly as I did on this side. Again, just making sure it's nice and level with the top of that beam there. This will be supporting some of the deck planking that will be going on. So we'll be adding them all the way to the back of the ship, I assume. And then we also have two pieces that will go on the back of each frame. I believe that's called SB 10. So I won't do any commentary while doing that. I'll just do what we've got to do and then come back to you once that's done. Okay, that's the last one we've got to fit according to the instructions on frame 13. It doesn't have a matching one on the back. It's bigger than these ones, but exactly the same idea. You just line it up with that beam there. So according to the instructions, that's all we have to fit for now. So next up, what we're going to be doing is threading some more wiring through the hole back to this battery box. Okay, we've got these 4 wires that we've just got to run through the ship up to the battery box. We've got 2 negatives, 2 positives, just going to slip through this hole there under the braces all the way up to the battery box. I've put a couple of clips down the side just so I can run the wires through there and they avoid the mast coming down through the ship later in the build. So I'll get the camera up a bit higher and then we'll do that. Okay, now that we've run those wires through, the instructions don't actually say how long these ones have to be, so I've just allowed a little bit extra going by the instructions. I've probably got too much out the back, but it doesn't really matter, they can be cut down as necessary. Next up, what we're going to be doing is wiring in this switch. So what we'll be doing is one of these positive wires will be going to the positive on the battery box. The other one will be hooking up to all the other positive wires that are going to the LEDs. Just need to move the camera a little bit. So yeah, as I said, those positives will go onto this and the negatives will then get attached to the battery box as normal, and then hopefully when we flick the switch it should create the circuit and light everything up. So we'll try that in a little while. Okay, so that's all wired up now. So we've got the switch. I'm not sure where that'll be mounted yet, but when we turn it on, as you can see, we've now got the lighting at the front comes on. I've just tested the wires to the back, they also have power, so as we add LEDs down there it should all work well. And speaking of more LEDs, we've got 2 more to add to the stern of the ship. Okay, we have 2 of these LEDs to add. I've done one on one side and then I've got another one to go on the other. Just slips through this hole on the back here. The instructions said to make each of the wires for these ones 15 centimeters long, so that's what I've done. Just pull that through, and then once you get it through the hole, you just push it down into that little notch below it. Just push that down a bit. There we go. And I'll just glue that in place. Okay, it says just to leave all these wires hanging out the top, and I believe for some reason, even though they asked us to thread these wires through this hole here, they want us to pull those out and also pull those through the top. We have a fair bit more to do on the officers' quarters, another 2 decks, and I believe another 4 LEDs that will go on there. It's actually pretty involved, so might slow me down a little bit more. So yeah, looking forward. We've got the officers' quarters to do, some more of the planking on the first or the upper deck. So yeah, there's still a fair bit to do. So thanks for joining me, and hope to see you all again next week. Cheers.